Key Concept 1.1 basically talks about how groups of people that were hunter-gatherers, so they just hunted and foraged for their food instead of using agriculture. They all migrated in family units, so not big groups of people, but they migrated from East Africa to places like Eurasia, Australia, and the Americas. And they had tools used for hunting and then fire. So the tools were still stone tools because it was Paleolithic, and they were just sharpened stone and almost like a spearhead. They also used fire as a tool. They used it for protection from the bigger animals and to cook their food so that it was easier to chew and digest, and for warmth so they wouldn't freeze to death. In these units, everyone was equal to each other, so there wasn't any patriarchy and no one was used as slaves because everyone was doing the same thing to provide for each other. And the hunters and gatherers, who were men and women, they couldn't really survive without each other because the diets had to be sort of varied and they had to have enough energy. So hunting was seen as like maybe a tiny bit important, gathering was also extremely important. The first picture of our evidence is a map of how and when humans migrated from East Africa. So it shows where they migrated from and where they went to from those places. And then also fire, because that was a very important tool in the Paleolithic, that was developed in the Paleolithic time, because they did use it for heat and cooking, and it basically helped them survive a lot better than they had been before. This video is about the Paleolithic age. It explains how they lived and what their day-to-day life was like, and how they used tools like stones and fire, and just how they traveled into familial units and their relationships with that. And the timeline shows what happened in the societies that were developed after agriculture.